not sure how long it's been since many of you have read this poem. It was about 10 years until today since I read it. It's a really fucking long poem.
Oh yeah.
Boy, and I'm really not sure that he really wants to use this as any sort of promotion because, well,
It's fairly vulgar.
it's fairly vulgar.
You got 6 minutes.
Sweet, that means I'm not going to read the whole fucking thing. All right. Here we go. Huh? No. I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves to the Negro streets at dawn looking for an angry fix. Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo and the machinery of the night, who poverty and tatters and hollowed eyes and high sat up drinking, excuse me, in the supernatural darkness of cold water flats floating across the tops of cities contemplating jazz, who bared their brains to heaven under the L and saw Mohammedan angels staggering on tenement roofs illuminated, who passed through universities with radiant cool eyes, hallucinating Arkansas and Blake-like tragedy among the scholars of war, who were expelled from academies for crazy and publishing obscene odes on the windows of the skull, who cowered in the unshaded rooms in underwear, burning their money in wastebaskets, listening to the terror through the wall, who got busted in their public beards, returning from Laredo with a belt of marijuana from New York, who ate fire and paint hotels, who drank turpentine in Paradise Alley, death and purgatory, their torsos night after night, with dreams, with drugs, with waking nightmares, alcohol and cock, endless balls, incomparable blind streets of shuddering cloud and lightning in the mind, keeping towards the poles of Canada and Patterson, illuminating all motionless world of time between, peyote solidities of hall, backyard, green tree cemetery dawns, wine drunkenness over the rooftops, storefront boroughs of keyhead, joyride, neon blinking traffic light, sun and moon and trees, in the roaming winter dusts of Brooklyn, ashcan rantings of the king light of mind, who chained themselves to subways for the endless ride from Battery to holy Brooklyn on Benzedrine until the noise of the wheels and children brought them shuddering, mouth racked with battered bleak of brain, all drawn of brilliance in the night, in the dear light of zoo, who sank all night in submarine light of Bickfords floated out and sat in the stale beer afternoon in desolate Fugazis, listening to the crack of doom on the hydrogen jukebox, who talked continuously, 70 hours from Park to Pad to Bar to Bellevue, to museum to the Brooklyn Bridge. A lost battalion of platonic conversationalists jumping down from the stoops of the fire escapes, of windsills of the Empire State out of the moon, yakety-yakking, screaming, vomiting, whispering, facts and memories and anecdotes, and eyeball kicks and shocks of hospitals and jails and wars, whole intellects disgorged, and total recall for 7 days and nights with brilliant eyes, meet for the synagogue cast on the pavement, who vanished into nowhere, Zen, New Jersey, leaving a trail of ambiguous picture postcards at Atlantic City Hall, suffering eastern sweats and Tangerian bone grinding and migraines of China junk withdrawal in Newark's bleak furnished room, who wandered around and around at midnight in the railroad yard, wondering where to go, and went, leaving no broken hearts, who lit cigarettes in boxcars, racketing through the snow toward the lonesome farms in the grandfather night, who studied Plantus Poe, St. John of the Cross, telepathy, and Bob Kabbalah, because the cosmos instinctively vibrated at their feet in Kansas, who moaned through streets of Idaho seeking visionary Indian angels who were visionary Indian angels, who thought they were only mad when Baltimore gleamed in the supernatural ecstasy, who jumped in limousines with the chairman of Oklahoma on the impulse of winter night, streetlight, small-town rain, who lounged hungry and lonesome through Houston seeking jazz or sex or soup, and followed the brilliant Spaniards to converse about America and eternity, a hopeless task, and soon took ship to Africa, who disappeared into the volcanoes of Mexico, leaving behind nothing but the shadow of dungarees and the lava and ash of poetry scattered in the fireplace Chicago, who reappeared on the West Coast, investigating the FBI in beards and shorts, with pacifist eyes sexy in the dark, skin passing, in their dark skin, passing out incomprehensible leaflets, who burned cigarette holes in their arms, protesting the narcotic tobacco haze of capitalism, who distributed super communist pamphlets in Union Square, weeping and undressing while the streets, while the sirens of Los Alamos wailed them down, and wailed down the wall, and the Staten Island ferry also wailed, who broke down crying in the white gymnasium, naked and trembling before the machinery of other skeletons, who bit detectives in the neck and shrieked in the light of police cars for committing no crime but their own wild cooking, pederasty, and intoxication, who howled on their knees in the subway and were dragged off the roof waving genitalias and manuscripts, who let themselves be fucked in the ass by stately motorcyclists and screamed with joy, who blew and were blown by those human seraphim, the sailors, caresses of the Atlantic and Caribbean love, who bawled in the morning, in the evenings, in rose gardens, and the grass of public parks and cemeteries, scattering their semen freely to whoever may come, who hiccuped endlessly trying to giggle, but wound up with a sob behind a partition in a Turkish bath when the blonde naked angel came to pierce them with a sword, who lost their love boys to the three old shrews of fate, the one-eyed shrew, the heterosexual dollar, the one-eyed shrew that winks out the womb, and the one-eyed shrew that does nothing but sit on her ass and sniff the intellectual golden threads of the craftsman's loom, who copulated ecstatic and insatiate with a bottle of beer and a sweetheart, a package of cigarettes, a candle, and fell off the bed and continued along the floor, down the hall, and ended fainting on the wall with visions of ultimate cunt, some eluding the last jism of consciousness, who sweated the snatches of a million girls trembling in the sunset, who were red-eyed in the morning, but prepared to sweeten the snacks at sunrise, flashing buttocks under barn and naked in the lake, who went out whoring through Colorado in myriad stolen cars. NC, secret hero of these poems, Coxman and Adonis of Denver. Joy to the memory of his innumerable ways of girls in empty lots and diner backyards, movie houses, rickety roads, on mountaintops and caves with gaunt waitresses and familiar roadside lonely petticoat upliftings at the specially secret gas station, solipsisms of Johns and hometown alleyways too, who faded out in the vast storied movies, were shifted in dreams, woke out of sudden Manhattan, picked themselves out of basements hungover with heartless tokay and horrors of Third Avenue iron dreams, and stumbled to unemployment offices, who walked all night with their shoes full of blood at snow-packed docks, waiting for the door of the East River to open to a room full of steam heat and opium, who created great suicidal dramas on the apartment cliff banks of the Hudson under the wartime blue floodlight of the moon, and their heads shall be crowned with laurel in oblivion, who ate the lamb stew of the immigration, or digested the crab at the muddy bottom of the rivers of Bowery, who wept at the romance in the streets with their pushcarts full of onions and bad music, who sat in boxes breathing in the darkness under the bridge and rose up to build harpsichords in their lofts, who coughed on the 6th floor of Harlem, crowned with the flame under the tubercular sky, surrounded by orange crates of theology, who scribbled all night, rocking and rolling over lofty incantations, which in yellow morning were stanzas of gibberish, who cooked rotten animal, long heart, feet, tall, borscht, and tortillas, dreaming of pure vegetable kingdom, who plunged themselves under meat trucks looking for an egg, who threw their watches off to the roof to cast their ballot for eternity outside of time, and alarm clocks fell on their heads every day for the next decade, who cut their wrists 3 times successfully, unsuccessfully, gave up and were forced to open antique stores where they thought they were going to grow old in pride. Jesus Christ.
That's not in there.
Seriously.
James, bring me off this crazy train. Oh, God.